Yeah. And, you know, we learned some lessons too from this event. And so this will be stuff we talk about in the negotiations. But let's back up and not forget one thing. The time reference you used in your question is very good. But remember, we had a strike going on with Boeing. And Boeing, whether you know it or not, was trying to pit membership against membership. And that was unfortunate. And it showed, you know, the strike was over what? 16 words. $6 billion strike over 16 words. Most expensive words in the English language. And the words boiled down to the employees of Boeing saying, we want to build your airplanes. And we want first dibs on building your airplane. Imagine the employees asking the employer to do the work. And that's, I make light of it, but that's exactly what occurred. So a strike ensued, and the pressure was on, well, what about all those folks at Spirit and other companies, by the way, that supply Boeing? And so it put us in a catch-22 situation. And so how do we ease, for the members who have no control over this situation, the pain? And so Spirit, unlike other companies, chose to spread it out. And I know it hurt people. There's no way, it even hurts you. Okay, it even hurts you. But you got to deal with the cards you're dealt at the time. And that's one thing about IAM members. They understand that and they stick together, just like in the previous strike when Boeing tried to separate out Wichita from the master agreement. The folks in Puget Sound struck for the folks in Wichita. So these are unusual situations that can occur. It's a risk. We try to manage it the best as possible. But part of the lesson we learned from that is Jeff was right when he said the people who care the most about Spirit are the people here. That includes us. So as we go forward, trying to learn lessons from every experience we have, is how do we protect our members here and protect everybody here from things that we have no control over. Part of that is thinking longer term and how we minimize the impact of other things that can happen to us. I'll share with you, last year we tried to do something. Even though we have a contract in place, we sat down and talked with Boeing about a new way. I'm disappointed it didn't come about. They chose not to respond, not us. We made the moves. I think everybody knows that story. It would help avoid situations we had that impacted here. That's what we're after, is to try and make life better for our members, a little more security. That comes with being able to plan out a little further, and we don't inflict pain on people. So if we can do this now, this time, with a company willing to respond and with a great workforce that doesn't have to prove anything, we're well on our road to maybe correcting some of these events from happening in the future.
Can I respond for a minute to your very good question? We've had a lot of discussions in the board about the issue that you brought up, which is how are we treating the IAM members, how are we treating the management team? And Jeff will tell you that in most of those discussions, I have been expressing the hope that we could get the IAM workers on the same basic metrics as Jeff and the rest of his team, so that you're all in the same boat together. Now, to do that, we got to get back to what these two have been talking about, which is bargaining and coming up with a process that's different than what we've had in the past. What we've had in the past is appropriate in a world in which we really didn't have to worry about competition. And so we had a discussion of, is it management's time this time, or is it the union's time this time? I don't know how you said it, but that's basically what you said. Who's on top? So we gotta go in a different direction. And now here's the problem from the company's. The company, as Jeff said, doesn't know what's going to happen. We're in an uncertain world. So what I think is a discussion that's going to go on between these teams in the next few weeks is, if we're going to look through the windshield and not the rearview mirror, what does that mean for every individual employee here? Well, it means if you really do that, it means you take more risk because nobody knows what's going to happen. So if the company does great, then you'll all make more money and do great. If the company doesn't do so well, then you'll share in the pain and the layoffs and the temporary stuff. But you also pick up job security. So you take on more risk, but it's a risk to get job security and to try to make the company more successful in this competition that we're faced with. And the knowledge that if the company's doing well, you're going to be treated in a very similar way to Jeff and the other executives in the team, which I think makes all the sense in the world if we can figure out how to get it done.
I think we got, where, Greg? Oh, there you are. You had a blue shirt on. I had trouble finding you.
Anyway, I'm Brent Allen. I'm the vice president of our local lodge union, Local Lodge 839. I have more of a comment than anything. I hope going forward that both teams realize that no matter what the capital assets out here, your biggest machine, your biggest cost, or anything like that, that your people should be your number one asset, period, and that you guys keep that in mind when negotiating our contract. Also, when our president goes back to his headquarters, Dick Gephardt goes wherever he goes, Jeff Turner goes home, we have to live with the contract that you guys leave us. We want to prosper like everyone else. I just want you guys to know that the people here are your number one asset, period.
Absolutely. Yep. We need machines and we need tools, but I've never seen them run themselves or make a single part or a single assembly or a single engineering drawing or anything else. So that's really aptly put. And I think if I went back and look at my notes, which I ignored when I started talking, that point was in there. Thank you.
I'd just like to add that when I go back to IAM headquarters in Washington, and for whatever duration, any contract of 8,000 contracts we have, we live with them all every day, 365 days a year. And don't ever think we aren't aware of where we're at. And it's one of the things that we care about so much. We're able to but proudly proclaim that IAM members are among the highest paid union members in the United States and Canada. And it's because we do care about the quality of those contracts.
And when I go home, I'm going to live with it.